Hello, 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 everybody. It is Matt and it is Sinful Sunday, and I am back at you with yet another review. Before I roll on to any of that, I want to wish each and every one of you a great morning, evening, dawn, day, or dusk, all that lovely stuff, because life really is too short as is. Do me a really huge favor and like, share, and subscribe. I love seeing your beautiful faces when you are here. I know I'm here an awful lot, but I have an awful lot on my plate to review. And one last little tidbit of information. Check out the description box. I give you a bigger bite of every single movie of every single day. I give you your brief synopsis, your starring cast, your director, runtime of the cut I am watching, along with a link for a trailer. And if you decide, you can help support Matt's Movie Mania and toss me a couple of bucks. Now that we got all that said and done and all that out of the way, let's roll on to the film of the day. And oh my gosh, this is an interesting one. It was filmed back in, I think it said 2011, 2012, something along those lines. Was lost for years. Let me fix my camera here just a pinch. There we go. Was lost for years and was rediscovered on a hard drive. And so it was painfully put together, and we got the 2021 release of Beyond Dark Dreams. Wow, what a film. This is directed by Joseph Russio. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. If not, I am so sorry, Joseph. Like I said, it was a lost film. This thing runs at about an hour and 12 minutes plus like 14 seconds, something like that. But an hour and 12 minutes. It is not rated. As far as I know, I didn't find any place where it's for sale. I think it is available on iTunes for to watch if I saw correctly, because I was scouring the internet looking for a release of this and I couldn't find anything. So anyways, now what exactly is Beyond Dark Dreams about? Well, it's an anthology film. It starts out with a writer who is having a lot of trouble getting his pen to flow from his brain to that piece of paper. So he's got a wicked case of writer's block. Some weird shit happens, and then eventually what happens is he finds this syringe full of green liquid. He says, hey, why not? And decides to inject it directly mainline into his arm. Passes out, and then thinks he wakes up, and he is able to he goes off and takes a shower, gets redressed, notices that he is still in his old clothing and laying on the floor while he is still doing these other things. It is very, very dreamlike. This entire film is very, very, very much like a dream or a nightmare, but not in a bad way. Don't take that as a bad way. But he passes out. He does all these things. He is now fresh, full of thoughts in his mind. He starts off on the first story, which is honestly my least favorite out of the two stories and the wraparound, which has the final act tied into it. It basically it follows a guy who is a musician of sorts. He is working something out, composing something on the keyboard, and somebody keeps messing with him, unplugging his equipment. It gets him to the point to where he goes off and checks what happens, plugs everything all back in, and gets his hands chopped off, which is a very, very gnarly, cool effect. I really liked it. While this is going on, there is a red-haired girl that is having these don't know if I would say dreams or just visions, but she sleeps a lot. Um, like when you first meet her, she's asleep, and then eventually she takes a knife and goes to the place where the composer was and finds the bloody hands, drops the knife, and it runs out of there. And the next thing you know, she is staying at, I'm guessing it's some sort of facility for like sleep patients or something along those lines, because she is greeted by a woman in a white lab coat. You don't know if she's a doctor or a nurse or an esthetician or any of that stuff. You do not know what she is. She takes a girl into the room and she goes to sleep. That's all I'm going to give you on that first story. We're going to roll on to the second one. The second one was really good. It follows a woman who is it starts out with a woman who is waiting for some friends so she can go out and have a good time. An older gentleman comes up and basically talks her into going in and having a drink with him, when she flat out is like, I shouldn't. Every time I drink, something bad happens. She kind of leads the guy on a little bit. She goes in for that beverage, and they have a good time, and he's trying to get her to leave with him. He ends up leaving by himself because she just flat out, she's just like, no, dude, she just tells him no after all of that. Eventually she ends up chained up in a basement or wherever it is, a warehouse or a freaking closet. I have no idea. Wherever it is, it's a large place. But she is chained up, fully nude, and we have another girl who is in there with her. She is chained up and fully nude as well. Eventually, you meet this other girl who is going out on these dates with this man who you never see his face, and the character or the actor that played the man probably wasn't the best, because they completely overdubbed his voice, and it kind of gives it a Night to Dismember kind of vibe with his voiceover. So I kind of chuckled at that, just a tiny pinch, but it didn't affect it to the point to where I disliked it. I really liked this story. Because you get all kinds of crazy stuff. You get a baby being born, and the killer takes the baby, and he's milking these women and making one of them drink the breast milk, and it's just batshit insane stuff. Like, it's really, really cool. It plays very, very hard on the giallo vibes. This entire movie does. This is like a modern giallo, and I really, really like it. And then we roll on to the final act, which is basically what happens to our writer. It's very cool. You get some more sweet special effects going on. I don't want to give away anything on it because it really ties in the story really well. The music is very good. It has a great music score on here. It feels like something straight out of Goblin. I really just overall loved it. The acting is very good for what it is. There's no real need for any like Oscar worthy type acting in a film like this. So I feel like it works very, very well on its own. Excuse me. I am so glad that they were able to find and recover this film. Excuse me. Got the burps. I am so thankful that they were able to refine and put this film back together. I think they did a fantastic job with it from beginning to end. On to the three things that I love my movies to meet. First is the audio. The audio is crisp, cool, and clean for the foremost. I never have a moment where I can't understand what a character is saying. Granted, there is not a ton of dialogue going on, but there is dialogue going, especially in that second story and in the third story, or the final act wraparound. There's more talking in that. It's that first act that they do. There's not a lot of dialogue going on. Not really much of anything, if I remember correctly. But I'm going to give it an A overall for the audio. I feel like it did a good enough job. I never had to replay a part to understand a character. Everything was delivered with fine precision. So I really enjoyed that. Second thing is the dialogue. Dialogue is very good in the segments that do have the dialogue. I really think that the wraparound story has the best dialogue out of all of them. I think it really packs a punch. All three stories pack a punch, but nothing really as much as the wraparound and the second act to do. Those two are just absolutely just premium work, like that's giallo work to a T. It's perfect. So I'm going to give it an A on the dialogue. And third thing is editing. Editing is always a tricky thing for when you're putting together a movie, because you don't want to have it overstay its welcome, and you don't want to undercut it as well. This one has a nice steady forward momentum, never loses pacing, never makes me bored. It never made me bored throughout it, not once. I never stopped it to check how much time is left. Nothing, no outside distractions whatsoever with this one. So I really was able to get sucked into this one really well. I thought that Joseph did just a damn fine job at this film. So I'm going to give it another A. So we got 3 A's. My final score of 1 through 5 is going to be a 4.5 out of 5. It's not quite 5.0 material. I think if there was a little more dialogue in that first act, extend that first act a little more, give us a little more reasoning behind what's going on with that one, because that one is slightly confusing, because it jumps around so much and it's so dreamlike. That one is just bizarre. But it's good. Alright guys, I love your faces. I'll see you on Tuesday with yet another review, and always peace.